Blackman stolen.
Here's Drexler. 3-on-2. Caldwell Jones. Follow. Score. Kersey.
You better run out there and tell him he needs 2 more points to get 10,000, and maybe he won't miss that next layup.
Well, if he doesn't do it tonight, he'll have to wait for Sunday's Cleveland game, and that'll be on Blazer Cable. Let's hope he does it tonight. Here's Rolando Blackman. Only one player in the game so far has made more than 3 field goals. That's Clyde Drexler, who has 4. Duckworth. Rebound, Donaldson, his 11th.
And it's also difficult to get rebounds when you're out on the perimeter. Duckworth has been out there. You're not going to be able to get back. Dantley. Cases.
Yep. Block inside. And here comes Kersey. Slows it down. Dallas does a very good job getting back and denying the break.
Well, I think what you do against Dallas is you have to attack. That time Portland had numbers, but they didn't really go hard to the basket. Duckworth misses.
Here's Porter. In and out. And here come the Mavericks. Blazers doing a good job denying the outlet pass, but Harper takes it in. And here comes Portland with Porter in the middle. Offensive foul, Terry Porter.
Porter thought he had a chance to beat him. He looked around, saw who was with him, and thought he was going to be able to get, Sam Perkins to commit one way or the other. He stayed right in the middle.
Blazers leading 45-44. Minute and a half gone in the third quarter, and each team has a basket in the period. Blackman. That's a 2-point basket. 1 foot was on the line. 46-45. Dallas on top. Kersey as the Blazers look for spacing on the floor. Porter. Duckworth. Yes, Kevin Duckworth picks up the offensive rebound and has 7 points, and the Blazers lead 47-46. That is our 6th lead change in the game.
Trying to get Blackman warm at the offensive end. Duckworth with a strong rebound and outlet pass to Drexler.
Kersey fouled as he had position for the offensive rebound. Dantley is called for the foul. It is his 2nd.
Drexler had a great angle and thought he would just lay it in there gently. You see him cradle the ball and feel, well, I've got this one in. And somehow he put it in the wrong spot. And when he comes back out, he looks back at the glass. He can't believe he missed it.
9.5 left, third quarter. Portland leading by 1. Very important game for both teams.
Well, I think what's more important in a game like this, in which you're really struggling at the offensive end, is to try to dig in and find a way to win it. Duckworth with another rebound.
Perkins. Blackman.
Both teams are playing a confused and ugly game, and you can credit some of the defensive effort as Perkins makes a tough shot.
Dallas 48, Portland 47. Blazers commit only their 5th turnover of the night on the long pass out of bounds. The second half of this game is being brought to you in part by Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. It's as real as it gets. By Fred Meyer Stores, you'll find it at Freddy's. And by your quality Greater Portland area Toyota dealers, who invite you to test drive a new 1989 Toyota.
You talked about Duckworth, and in this half alone, I think he's come up with 4 or 5 rebounds, so he's gotten busy and a chance to do some business on the board. Dallas double teams, and again, you got to get that ball over to the guy that's double teaming.
Donaldson with another rebound. Harper, stop and go move, hit and run. Offensive foul, Derek Harper. 3rd personal foul on Derek Harper.
Well, Harper was trying to make Porter commit. He doesn't. He stays right there, and he just goes right through him. Sam Perkins will come out of the ball game. Herb Williams in.
Obviously, that foot still bothering Sam Perkins, and he gave it a go, but he comes out less than 4 minutes into the third quarter. Terry Porter. Rebound, James Donaldson. 13 rebounds for Big James. Dantley. Inside to the contact, and the foul is called. It's on Caldwell Jones. Let's watch.
Dantley still trying to make something happen and knows his best chances are off the drive. Caldwell Jones is saying he created a contact, but Dantley will go to the line.
Sixth NBA team for the 10th highest score in the history of the game. Your capsule summary of Adrian Dantley.
Well, I've always felt that Dantley has been a great scorer and a great competitor. He's been misunderstood in the early part of his career, but everywhere he's gone, he's made a positive contribution to that team's success, and that's all you can ask. In this business, you have no control over how long you will stay. All you can do is play as hard and as well as you can.
8 points for Adrian Dantley, who says he developed much of his ability to play inside as a youngster in Washington, D.C., playing a game called No Foul, where you could do anything you wanted. No fouls were ever called. Drexler. Swooped to the hoop by Drexler, and he has 11. It's 50-49, Dallas by 1, and 7:44 to go in the third.
This may be the low-scoring game of the night. We've gotten some earlier games that are still underway, high-scoring affairs.
Some ugly ones, too. Ball out of bounds and belonging to Portland. Remember, one of the backdrops of this game is that Dallas this year, when it's held its opponent under 100, is 18-1. And a year ago when they did it, they were 24-2. We may have a timeout. Okay, the officials apparently thought a timeout was signaled, but indeed it was not, and so play will continue. There's 21 on the shot clock as Rick Adelman looks on. In this half, the Blazers playing offense in front of their own bench.
Again, what they'd like to do is have some movement. Now notice how they're all standing. That allows the defense to stack itself in, and you've got to have some movement in order to get some easy opportunities. Shot clock at 3.
Terry Porter. Porter now with the 11 in the ball game. It's 51-50. The Blazers bounce back in front by 1, and now John McQuad will call the timeout. 7:01 to play in the third. A 1-point game, and Portland leads.
Ball over against their opponent tonight. They've forced a turnover, and they've converted them into points.
Derek Harper and Terry Porter. Rolando Blackman, Clyde Drexler. Marvelous matchup in backcourt tonight. Here's Donaldson. Wades inside and scores. Donaldson with 13 points, 14 rebounds. Remember, in the last 5 games that he's played before tonight, he was averaging 17 points and 19 boards. Again,
now you see how that defense is stacked in, and you'd like ideally to have some weak side movement. Drexler trying to push inside, picks up the personal foul. That one will be against Rolando Blackman. You hear the crowd here react. That is just a second team foul, second personal against Blackman.
Peter Cobb and Reed Cobb say hello to family and friends in Portland, and Steve and Beverly Raffle of Battleground, Washington want to say hello to their children watching tonight in Vancouver. Nice to have all of you with us tonight. Pat Lafferty, Steve Jones courtside here at the reunion. In the truck, our director, George Watt. Here's Duckworth. Rebound, Herb Williams. Dantley. Quick move.
Loaded inside, and again, in both of those drives he's had tonight, the player has been right up on him, and when Dantley recognizes that, he's at the basket.
54-51, Dallas by 3, 6 minutes gone, third quarter, halfway through the period. Knocked away by Dantley. Duckworth open at the line. Kersey taps it to Drexler, still alive, and finally Jerome has it again. And he's fouled by Herb Williams.
Get a stick, a knife, a fork, anything, pierce that ball, but get a hold of it. Portland has had trouble in this, just as maintaining possession. Herb Williams trying to make the steal from the rear, reaches across. Perkins back in the ball game, Williams down.
Kersey and Dantley. Jerome. Yes. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the Trailblazer Television Network. Blazers trailing by 1. Dantley. Slick spin move inside and draws the foul. It's on Caldwell Jones. And on CJ, that is his 4th personal foul.
Again, Dantley knows how to play at the offensive end and knows when he has that advantage. Could have been called for a hook right then, got away with it, spins back the other way.
Rick Adelman will send Sam Bowie into the ball game between free throws. Dantley. Sam Bowie replaces Caldwell Jones. Dantley, coming into tonight's game, needed 36 points to reach 22,000 for his career. He's up on that mountain where few have climbed, Steve. Only 10 in the history of the game.
He's always been a great offensive player, and you know, before it's said and done, he'll be one of the all-time leading scorers.
3-point Dallas lead at 56-53.
Porter wanted the shot, really wasn't ready to put it in the air, tried to make a save, and it's a turnover.
Harper inside gently. Rebound, Kevin Duckworth. Here comes Terry Porter.
You got all kinds of people on the other side. In case he missed, Kersey does not.
Kersey was 6 in the quarter, 10 in the game. And it's 56-55. Blazers within 1. Biggest lead in this game for either team was 5 points. That's how close it's been. Donaldson. 15 for Donaldson. Blazers looking for a shuffling of the feet call, a travel, no violation whistle. And it's 58-55. Kersey for Duck. Rebound, Sam Perkins. Harper to Dantley. Blocked by Bowie. What a play by Sam.
Duckworth is saying, how can I be on the floor so much and not get a foul?
Here's Blackman. Blazers may want a 20-second timeout. Kersey had been tripped too and no foul was called.
They got numbers, but they can't cash.
Perkins with the rebound. Here comes Harper. James Donaldson. Rick Adelman will ask for a timeout. 3.5 minutes to go. Quarter number 3. Dallas leads Portland by 3. Sunday on Blazer Cable at 5. It's going to be a good game. This has turned into a, maybe not a pretty game, Steve, but we may be ready for another rundown, you know where. Wexler, marvelous shot.
It's a competitive game. Adelman off the bench, and he wanted a foul on that when they don't get it, but he's happy with the conversion. Dantley and Kersey as they switch his shot.
60-59, Dallas by 1. Donaldson with Bowie. Double team. Shot clock inside 10. Blackman. Harper at 3. Yes. 5 points for Derek Harper. Back the other way. Blazers overthrow the offense. Rick Adelman has seen the Blazers turn it over seldom tonight, but that doesn't make that any less painful. Perkins misses. Steve Johnson rebounds. Kersey scores and is fouled by Blackman.
A heck of an outlet by Steve Johnson. Fired that one right on the dime and caught Jerome Kersey in stride. You'll see Johnson just take it and wheel, and there's Kersey, doesn't break stride. Blackman trying to get to the ball, picks up the foul.
Terry Porter will come out. Clinton Wheeler will check back in for the Blazers. Kersey, a three-point play try? No, well shot. First free throw of the night for Jerome, but he has 8 in the quarter now and 12 in the game. And Portland is within 2 at 63-61. Perkins now with 10 rebounds. Dallas a big edge on the board. Portland has made far fewer turnovers. Dantley. Well, he's up the ante in the quarter, 8 in the period, 14 in the game. So the Kersey-Dantley battle has turned offensive. Bowie and Perkins.
Well, a slick pass inside, and Kersey wasn't ready to handle it. It might have been just a little bit too hard. And they give it back. Delay of game against Portland.
Rick Adelman does not believe that call. Dallas 65 and Portland 61. Mavericks looking for their largest lead of the night. Dantley and Kirsten. Foul is called on Steve Johnson. I'll say this for John McLeod. He has given Dantley a tremendous number of opportunities to exercise the strength of his game.
Well, when you have a great scorer, that's what you should do. If you don't utilize his strength, then why do you have him on the team? And Dantley is great if you can give him a clear side. They do, and he picked up the personal foul.
Third foul on Steve. 4 team fouls in the period on each squad.
You know when Dantley is really cooking, he gets a lot of chances from the free throw line. Unhappy with himself because of that miss. Kersey out of the ball game, Richard Anderson in.
The Mavericks tonight at the line, 17 of 20, 85%. 80% on the year as a team. It's 66-61. Dallas has their first 5-point lead of the ball game. Portland's largest lead has also been 5. Just over a minute and a half left in the third. Bowie.
And looking for Drexler in the box. He makes a big catch to get the hoop.
Could have been a foul call on Blackman, who bumped Clyde when he caught the pass. It's 66-63. Dallas by 3, and Drexler now with 15. He's Portland's leading scorer. Blackman, jump inside to Donaldson. Pretty play. 19 for Donaldson, who is the leading scorer in the game. Dallas lead by 5. Steve Johnson.
Everything right, but the finger roll wouldn't go. Drexler tried to draw the foul.
Blackman. Dallas by 7 at 70-63 and 45 in the quarter. Drexler. Yes, Clyde Drexler. 17 for Drexler, and the Dallas lead is sliced to 5. 35 left in the quarter. Shot clock running 13 ahead of the game clock. Harper. Dantley with Richard Anderson. Dantley putting on quite a show now. 20 seconds left, shot clock is off. Dallas leading by 7. Wheeler and Harper.
Wheeler having a tough time getting hold of the ball when they finally tie him up with 3 seconds left on the clock.
Use the official Trailblazers Sport Bottle for any athletic activities you do. Pick yours up at participating Texaco retailers. It's only $1.29 with a fill-up, $2.29 without fill-up. Offer good while supplies last. 3 seconds left. Jump ball between Sam Perkins and Clinton Wheeler.
Well, the thing you want to do is not allow them to spike it to the other end of the floor, so you got to have defensive coverage. And there it is.
They don't beat the buzzer, but Rick Adelman is so upset because no one responded to his instructions to move back and protect. We played 3. Score, Dallas 72, Portland 65.
The Mavericks take on the Houston Rockets Friday night. You can see the action on TVN Channel 9.
Scoring Portland 30-22 in the quarters. We have a foul called.
That'll be the 4th foul on Blackman. So it's a good idea to try to get that 5th on Rolando Blackman and try to set him down right now. He's always been a big moment player. They come inside to Johnson.
Clinton Wheeler. Wheeler has his 3rd field goal tonight. He's played sparse minutes, but he's done some nice things.
Yeah, he's made all of the shots.
Well, tonight, that's really a plus. Dantley draws the foul again. Blazers have made only 7 of 9 free throws in the game.
Again, whenever you allow Dantley to get that first step, nothing good is going to happen for the defense. He's able to get in at the heart, had a good angle. Donaldson out of the ball game, Harper in, Williams in. They make a couple of substitutions. Blackman sits down as well.
Dallas at the line is 18 of 21. So the difference in the game at the line is 11 points favoring Dallas. They lead on the scoreboard by 5. Dantley's second miss tonight. Dantley, 13th year in the league. He's 33.
Rare two times that you'll see Dantley miss.
Anderson finds Bowie. Boo. Ball hits on the end line. Sam's had a very tough shooting night tonight. He is 0 for 7. Last night in San Antonio was 2 for 10.
Well, you know, he still may be suffering a little bit from the condition of the flu, but the only way you get out of a slump is to continue to shoot the shots, and those are all makeable shots for Sam Bowie.
Dantley and Anderson. Anderson will be called for the push.
That's a tough matchup for Anderson, and the thing that he's got to do now is force Dantley to shoot the ball over the top. He's playing him too tight, and whenever he does that, that gets him in trouble.
Harper now paired with Clyde Drexler. Brad Davis lost the ball, but here's Herb Williams. Soaring rebound for Clyde Drexler. Wheeler. Yes, Lincoln Wheeler, 4 for 4 and has 8 points. 72-69. That may be a candidate for your post-game show. 10.5 minutes left. Dallas by 3. Harper, blocked inside. Here comes Clyde with Davis. Davis beats him to the ball.
Well, the idea was there, but Drexler had gotten turned around and couldn't get righted in order to chase the ball down before Brad Davis got to it. Harper out of the corner.
Three-pointer for Derek Harper. He's made 3 baskets tonight, and 2 of them have been trifectas. 75-69. Anderson can't even the count.
But that's the kind of player Harper is. He'll go along, not make any shots, and then what seems to be a critical moment in the game, he'll cash a couple of hoops.
Herb Williams. Rebound, Richard Anderson.
They've got a 2-on-1, but they can't convert.
Williams. Dantley scores. Rick Edelman looks a timeout. 9:33 to play, and Dallas has its largest lead. Bowie finds Drexler, and the foul is called. I believe Adrian Dantley. Yes, it is. Third foul on Dantley. Team fouls in the quarter. Portland has 2, and now Dallas has 2. Steve Johnson. Bowie, Drexler for 3. Harper has the ball knocked away and out of bounds by Clinton Wheeler. Blazers have not converted a 3-pointer tonight. In each of the last 2 months, Portland has set team records for most 3-pointers in a month. 41 in February. Dantley again. Ball goes out of bounds. Foul is called on Herb Williams, and Portland will have the ball as Herb is collared with his 4th personal. NBA Finals tonight. Boston beat Chicago 104-95. Washington over Atlanta 119-111. Adrian Dantley goes out. Herb Williams goes out. James Donaldson, Terry Tyler come back in. Denver beat Charlotte by 13, 112-99. The Lakers over Miami, Steve, 127-87. And Detroit over Seattle, 112-96. Here it's 77-69 with 8:40 to play.
They got Drexler right at the basket. If he can catch him, and he does, they get 2. They got the mismatch with Davis, and all they have to do is give him enough room, and he should get a chance to score.
77-71, Dallas. Perkins. Tough roll for Dallas. Anderson's rebound, and here comes Wheeler. Anderson? No. Wheeler with the rebound. Steve Johnson. Yes.
Well, he looked around. He said, what? Nobody's going to come to me? I'll take a layup.
4 straight for the Blazers, and it's 77-73. 8 minutes to play. Shot clock at 10. Foul, I think, what, Anderson or Johnson? It's Richard Anderson. 4th personal on Anderson.
Well, they come back with Blackman. Blackman has 4 personal fouls. They got 7:51 to go in the ball game. And of course, it's a critical time for McLeod because he thinks his team can build the lead, so he's going to take a chance.
Not a bad chance. Blackman has never fouled out of a game. Perkins.
That's where it pays to have long arms, and they go to work for Perkins.
For the Blazers, Anderson is out. Kersey is back in. Here's Kersey. Followed by Jerome, still won't go. And the Blazers have it with Steve Johnson. Jerome actively kept it alive despite the missed shot. Here's Bowie.
Well, the fans here realize that Bowie has yet to strike, and so they're encouraging him to shoot. Nice steal, Wheeler.
Drexler. Pick roll inside. Rebound, Tyler. Blazers turned away at the doorstep on too many occasions tonight. They trail by 6. 6:40 to play.
Well, they're still in the ball game. They haven't had any control in this ball game, but they're in the ball game.
Blackman. Shot clock at 2, and the ball is out of bounds. Terry Porter will come in.
They're going to get Drexler a quick breather. 6:26 to come in the ball game. He'll come out. Wheeler and Porter will be the back court.
Porter and Blackman.
Wheeler's wide open down on the baseline. Now they missed him.
Steve Johnson. And the ball goes to Dallas. Early in the game, we asked you the Terry Tyler, John Long trivia question. What do those 2 players have in common? They are the only 2 NBA players who were schooled at the collegiate level by Dick Versace, both at Detroit. Rolando Blackman with 14. 81-73, Dallas up by 8. Did I say Versace?
Yes, you did.
Well, it's Dick Vitale. Okay. Dick Vitale was their coach. Here's Wheeler to Bowie. Sam. His first field goal after starting 0 for 8 tonight.
Still in the ball game. A 6-point contest. Wheeler's done really a real good job tonight of being the man on the spot, being in the right place at the right time to make some big plays for Portland.
Played awfully well. 5:20 left. Blackman. Dallas 83, Portland 75.
That's the reason you want to keep Blackman down, because at some point he's going to get hot. Johnson from a tough angle gets that one to go.
I'll tell you, you have the impression that Steve might have drawn a couple of fouls along the way. A lot of contact inside, but he has yet to go to the line. 83-77 inside 5 minutes. Blackman, block inside. Bowie. Offensive foul on the basket is waved off. Terry Porter, big play.
Now this is a huge play in terms of building momentum as Harper is there and draws the foul. Portland had numbers, and if they could have gotten the ball in the center of the court, could have come away with a cheap chance. Drexler's up off the bench and will go back in.
Clinton Wheeler comes out, gave Rick Adelman good minutes tonight. 83-77, 4:40 to play. You're at the reunion in Dallas, Texas, the Blazers and the Mavericks. Third meeting this year. Blazers won by 9 and lost by 3.
Right here, you got to back off Dantley once he makes the catch. Otherwise, that is what happens.
21 for Adrian Dantley. Mavericks again lead by 8. Kersey on Dantley. Can't score. Bowie. And we've got Dantley holding on to Kersey, and there they go.
Nothing but a wrestling match here. See how the officials will rule on this. It's critical for Dallas and Portland. Dallas is the better of it in terms of scoring and effect on the game as we go back and take a look and see how it all started. Now you'll see the ball come up right here. Now you'll see that Kersey has Dantley. Now Dantley goes down low. Hulk Hogan would have been proud of that. And now you see him right here. He's not giving that leg up. And now he's coming up with a good hook inside, and that's as much as what happened, and we'll see what happens with the decision by Dick Bavetta.
The 3 officials are conferring, and both teams have temporarily been sent to the bench. Let's watch again.
You see Kersey trying to shed him on the offensive rebound attempt, pushed the head down, and that's what got Dantley's ire, and then you see them go into a wrestling match.
Now Dick Bavetta, the lead official, goes to the public address announcer and will explain what's going to happen. All this comes with 4:09 left in the game, and Dallas leading by 8. Adrian Dantley.
We have a personal foul, Adrian Dantley. He is fourth, the 4th team foul. A technical foul, Adrian Dantley. Portland had possession at the time of the foul, so after the technical free throw, it's their ball.
Porter will shoot the technical free throw and makes it.
Well, you hear the response from the fans. They get a technical and a personal against Adrian Dantley. They allow both players to stay in the game.
And the key there, I think, in that whole thing was that Dantley was the initiator, and Jerome Kersey never threw a punch, never shoved.
Well,
and the officials missed. Well, the officials missed the initial.
They never saw.
That's right.
But what they did do, and I think was smart on their part, they allowed both players to stay in the game. Now Bavetta is telling John McLeod, you've got to go back to your bench.
All right. A technical free throw. It remains Portland's ball because the Blazers had possession. Kersey and Dantley are still matched together. Steve Johnson. Yes. So a 3-point offensive swing out of all of that. And now the Blazers have battled back to within 5 with 4 minutes to play. Tie down the loose furniture and put the dog outside. Dantley. Rebound, Steve Johnson.
There's Drexler. He had a good position, was looking for the ball. Great pass inside.
Steve Johnson with the cut. Drexler with the pass. Steve has 6 in the quarter, and the Blazers have battled back to within 3. 85-82 and 3.5 to go. Drexler, steal. Blackman. Drexler. Harper back and conceded in the lay-in, and the Blazers have stormed back and trail by 1.
There was no concede that time. He was going to not miss that one. He just rose over him, and John McLeod wants the timeout.
Harper did the conceding. Timeout, 3:11 left to play. Dallas 85 and the Blazers 84. And the Mavericks with the ball.
They come back to Blackman. He loves these situations, but they force him to give the ball up 6 on the shot clock.
Bowie with the rebound, and the Blazers can take the lead.
In these situations, you want to be very aggressive at the offensive end. Whatever you do, you want to try to do it quickly before the defense can get themselves set up.
Shot clock at 9. Drexler. Porter.
That has happened for all of the Trailblazer jump shots. This time it turns into a transition try for the Dallas Mavericks and Dantley.
Dantley will go to the line and shoot 2. The foul on Terry Porter.
We talked so many times about what that missed jump shot can be as Porter gets back, as well as Drexler to tie him up. They get the personal foul against Porter.
Dantley has 21, 15 in this half. Team fouls even at 4 with 2:31 left. The Mavericks lead by 2. By getting involved in the Coca-Cola Trailblazers shootout, you'll be helping the Easter Seal Society of Oregon, and you could win a day in the NBA. For more details on how you can become involved, call the toll-free number 1-800-556-6020. 2 free throws by Adrian Dantley pushes the Maverick lead to 3 with 2.5 to go. Porter and Drexler in backcourt. Johnson, Bowie, and Kersey on the Blazer front line.
They're trying to get a 2-man game. Porter down the lane. And they get an offensive foul.
Dantley draws the charge. Porter is not happy.
Well, you'll see if Dantley is underneath the basket. He is not. He's out in front of the basket, and that's where they make the call. Well, George Washington now has 2 calls against the officials. The Dantley was a walk. This was not a charge. We're going to get you out here and let you work them over.
Blackman at the 2-minute mark. Dallas offensive rebound, Sam Perkins. Big double-figure rebound night for Perkins and Donaldson tonight. Sam with 14 rebounds, Steve. Shot clock at 10.
I mean, they got to make this be a tough try. Blackman again likes this situation, working against the clock. Stick in Perkins.
The long arm of the law, Sam Perkins, and the Dallas lead goes to 5. Blazer timeout, 1:35 to play.
Numbers on the board, 17 and 16 apiece.
All right, 1.5 minutes. Blazers need a conversion here, and they stop when the Mavericks go on offense.
They're looking for Drexler inside against Blackman.
Clyde, blocked for Williams. Harper. Scores and is fouled. Incredible shot by Derek Harper. And there's the owner, Donald Carter. Huge basket.
That's Harper. Struggling all night long and really has not been a force at the offensive end. Had the steal at the end of the intermission to get his first hoop. Has had a couple of 3-point field goals, and then he gets that one to put Dallas on top by 7.
All right, just over 1 minute to play. Duckworth. Porter. For 3. Won't go. Blackman has it, and that may do it. 50 seconds left. Mavericks ball, a 7-point lead. Blazers were down 8. Scored 7 straight. And since then, the Mavericks have come back to shut Portland down.
Well, they're trying to get some sort of trap, but Harper beats it off the dribble and loses the ball. They got a 3-on-2.
Kersey scores off Porter's assist. Half a minute left, 91-86.
Wrong guy. They foul Blackman. Of course, they have to foul in order to stop the clock. That should be his 6th personal foul, and Porter fouls out of the ball game.
Terry fouls out with 12 points. Clinton Wheeler will come back in. Portland led by 2 after 1, by 1 at the half, trailed by 7 going to this quarter, and currently Portland down 5 with 27 seconds left. This is one of the best clutch shooters in all of basketball. I would say at the line or from the field. And no Oregon State fan will ever forget his shot at Kansas State that beat Oregon State's greatest team. 93-86, half a minute left. And Portland will call a timeout with 27 seconds to play. Well, both teams prior to the ball game, Steve, were talking about how important it was because it's one game that really counts as 2. You not only have a chance to get a win for yourself, but you also saddle the team that you're tied with in the playoff race with a loss. And it looks now like Dallas will pick up that 2 games out of tonight's action.
Well, you know, Dallas and Portland have always had close and exciting games here at Reunion, and the rivalry continues. Both teams struggled, but it was a competitive effort, and Dallas got to turn into a 4-point play. Drexler
finds Wheeler. Kersey. Again. 16 for Kersey. 93-88. 23 seconds to play. And Blackman is fouled by Wheeler. And you have to stop the clock in that situation, and Portland does with 21 seconds left.
Well, you want to force somebody else other than a Blackman to get their hands on the basketball. Yes, you're going to foul, but you like to have someone like Tyler or Perkins be in a position where they've got to catch the ball along with Herb Williams, and then you can get to them very quickly, and maybe you get one of 2 or both misses.
Blackman makes the free throw. He is perfect at the line tonight, 5 of 5. Of the Dallas players on the floor, Williams is the worst free throw shooter at 71, and then Tyler at 75. All right, 95-88, 21 seconds left. And
Mounts to try to get a hoop.
Drexler scores. Again, the Blazers have only a 20-second timeout left.
See, they've given that ball to Blackman. That's the guy you don't want to foul, but again, they've allowed him to catch, and when they do that, you get the same result.
3rd personal foul on Clyde Drexler, and Rolando Blackman will be back at the free throw line. Even though Dallas is picking up free throws by the pair going down the stretch in the final minute, they had a huge advantage prior to that in free throws tonight. Blazers have shot 1 free throw, 1 earned free throw in this half, plus the technical that Terry Porter made. They had Kersey involved in a 3-point play try, and he missed the free throw, and the only free throw the Blazers have made in this half was Porter's technical that was called against Adrian Dantley. 97-90, 12 seconds left. Anderson.
They're giving Portland the 2. Anderson misses, but there's Kersey.
18 for Jerome. 4 seconds left. Dallas still leading by 5. Blackman. Foul is called at the buzzer. Blackman will get to shoot a couple of free throws. They'll take Derek Harper down to the end, and he'll get to shoot 2 shots now, though time has expired. And this will set our final score. Point number 11 for Derek Harper. It's not.
All right.
If he doesn't come out, he doesn't get the hedge trimmer.
Now, the Trailblazer post-game show. Tonight's post-game is being brought to you in part by Bob Frink, where big really is better. By the Oregonian. Pick up the Oregonian. Pick up some time. And by True Value Hardware, your store of first choice. And now, back down to courtside.
A big playoff game, or a big pre-playoff showdown tonight. Both teams 30-27 going in, but Steve, the Mavericks were the winners tonight on their home floor by a score of 99-92.
Well, it was one of those ball games where you were looking for one team to seize control, and they finally did it in that third period of play through the offensive efforts of Adrian Dantley. They got a 7-point advantage. That's the way the game ends, with Blackman making the key free throws down the stretch.
James Donaldson, Sam Perkins, a big force on the boards all night long, and that was a telling story.
Well, there was no question that they kept Portland from getting some second chances. They also kept the ball alive. Perkins with a huge tip down at the end when Portland had some time and really had a chance maybe to get back in the ball game. So they did the job when they had to, and that made the difference in the contest.
A lot of people concerned about the Blazers' inability to effectively hit the outside shot. How concerned should we be about that?
Well, I've talked about outside shooting, and a lot of it is knowing when you have the shot. If you don't recognize that you have the opportunity, you can't get it done. And when that happens, then you're going to struggle. Let's take a look at some of the highlights in this ball game. And for Portland, you know, you'd like to see them in a breaking situation because that's where they're most effective. Caldwell Jones had a chance. That would have been 10,000, but he missed it. Jerome Kersey got it. Maybe he'll give it to him. We don't know. Drexler, whenever he can get in this position, certainly can hurt some teams. And they never allowed him to isolate against Rolando Blackman too many times tonight as he comes in and scores. James Donaldson had a very effective night inside against Kevin Duckworth. I think it's true for everybody. If you let a guy catch the ball down on the box, they're going to do some damage. The guy that hurt Portland the most was Dantley, and perhaps the reason everybody played him too close. I mean, with Dantley, you want to make him beat you from the perimeter. Good outlet pass from Steve Johnson to Jerome Kersey to keep Portland in the hunt as they rally back in the third period of play. Derek Harper was a guy that didn't make many big plays tonight, but when he did, they counted. Donaldson over the top with the follow-up after the Harper miss. Quentin Wheeler, you know, had a real good ball game. Now there's the guy that we should have had because he didn't miss any shots that he could have talked about shooting tonight, but he did a good job. He was 4 of 4. Herb Williams did a good job making some good defensive plays, a strong outlet pass, and there's Dantley on the other end for the score. You know, it was Dantley's period in period number 3, and trying to counter was Clyde Drexler, and that was right after they had gotten Blackman with the fourth foul, a mismatch, and Brad Davis paid the price. Steve Johnson, this is a tough shot, and I'm sure Johnson, if he looks at this again, wants to know why he didn't get a three-point play, but that was the story tonight. Portland could not get to the free throw line. Dallas did. They made the difference. And watch 1, 2, 3 chances as they go up, and you see the melee break out between Kersey and Dantley. Actually, it turns out to be more of a wrestling match. Hulk Hogan would have been proud of the effort. It turns out to be a tie. You see the last shot right here. Now watch Perkins. He tips this in to keep the ball alive, and that really is the nail in the coffin for Portland and gave them that breathing room. We'll be back. James Donaldson has arrived. We'll have a conversation with James and more of our postgame right after this.
Thrown away. Turnover Beavers. They've turned it over 3 times in the second half, a total of 13 times in the game, to 12 turnovers for the Tigers.
Nobody came to help Haskett. He had no one to pass to, and the 5-second clock was going to go off, but he still threw it away.
7-point lead for the Tigers. Perry. Nice soft shot. 11 in the game. 47-38.
When you get past that front line of defense against the zone, you stop and take that jumper, so the big guys can't block it. You're really taking advantage of a zone.
Martin, tough shot. And a rebound for McClain. Perry with a nice pass to Gibson. Second time it goes.
Haskin is really not playing with any, I don't know, I hate to use the word intensity, but enthusiasm, you might say. Maybe he's afraid of getting his 4th foul, but hey, when you're in a situation like this, it's much more important to get the job done. If you happen to foul out, you foul out.
11-point lead is the biggest of the game for Memphis State. Payton slices 2 off that lead. Only 6 points in the game for Gary Payton at this point. 14:23 to go.
But I think Gary has decided that I got to do something here, and he decided to go out and take the thing upon himself.
Smith is bumped. Foul, and he'll go to the free throw line, and I think they're going to get Alabegovic. And a technical foul as well.
On who?
Alabegovic, I believe.
Well, it's going to be a 4-shot foul plus the game. 2 shots for the free throw, then 2 shots for the tee. Let's see. He goes up, he gets him with his body and his arm, no doubt about that. Foul is called. Now Haskin walks over to the ref. Let's see what happens after that.
That wasn't where it happened. It happened after they came away from the basket. Now Alabegovic gets the tee, and Smith will be at the line.
So he gets 2
and not
shots.
A good foul shooter. 52% on the season to this point.
Well, he'll probably make 2 now that you said that, Jimmy.
There's 1. And 2.
Oregon State number 4, Bob Cavill.
We have a substitution for the Beavers. Cavill has replaced Alabegovic for Oregon State.
This could be an 8-point play.
Here is Gibson to shoot 2 shots. 10 in the game for Gibson.
If they make all 4 of these free throws and get a 3-point basket and a foul, they get 8 points on one stretch.
Oh, that kind of thing is tough to overcome. It's a 12-point lead now. Make it 13. Biggest lead of the game, 13 points. And possession goes to Memphis State. We're going to have a timeout before play is resumed here. And Memphis State will inbound on the side at midcourt. 14-15 remaining in the game, and the biggest lead now established by the Tigers, 53-40. Perry guarded by Payton. McLean at the high post. Nice rebound. That was Earl Martin, 6'5" senior from Los Angeles. This is Cavill. Back to Payton. Cavill on top. And they work inside, and they haven't done much of this. Slapped away by Ronald McLean.
But there's nothing wrong going in there, and even if they get the shot blocked, at least they're doing something. If you get inside, you can throw it back out. There comes the replay, goes up, great block.
Back to live action now. Payton is short. It's over the top. Memphis State ball. 13:42 remaining, and a 13-point lead for Memphis State. Beavers with 5 straight wins on the year, including exhibition play. They have not been defeated yet. Spiva almost walked. Perry. Short jumper. Nope. Another whistle.
Another foul. I mean, the foul was before the shot, though, I believe. There you see Perry coming around. Bob Cavill gets him right there, reaching around. No shot, though.
First foul for Cavill. McLean. 12 in the game for Ronald McLean, and it's a 15-point lead. And Memphis State creates the turnover. They've really got the momentum going.
And they've got Oregon State a little bit frustrated. You can see Cavill takes the ball under the basket. They're trying to throw the ball under. You can't put any height on it, so as a result, it's a bad situation making the pass from there to where he tried to make it.
McLean. Beaver ball, out of bounds on the end line. Substitution for Oregon State. Haskin returns and Alabegovic returns.
What's happening on the defensive board there in the last sequence, the Oregon State guys were too far under the board. They really couldn't rebound. They were just out of position.
Pressure extended to full court and very nearly turned over again. Brantley, yes. Will Brantley with 14 in the game leads all scorers for the Beavers. It's 55-42, Memphis State. They're getting somebody loose on that baseline every time down, and this time it's Spiva.
Somebody was looking at the ball instead of watching his position.
Martin and Haskin misfire. I think he was shoved underneath by Spiva.
But again, he didn't catch the ball. If we have a replay on this, we'll see it. He never did catch the ball. Hey, let's see what happens. Here's the pass to Haskins, and he never does catch the ball. See, look, he doesn't have it.
Yep, you're
and
right.
This happens quite often to Haskin, and that's something I think he has to work on. It's the third time tonight he hasn't caught the ball.
Three points from the line tonight for Haskin, 5 in the game. 57-43, 1 to go for the sophomore from Beaumont, California. Got them both. 57-44 Tigers. Almost turned over. Spiva fouled. Alabegovic, number 3.
Anytime you get that ball inside of the zone like Memphis State is doing, it presents all kinds of possibilities. As you can, there goes the shot. Again, the rebound goes up. Spiva with his strength gets it. Alabegovic fouls it.
And Ben Spiva, who has played very, very well, shoved into a starting spot tonight with the failure of Tim Duncan to start because of ill health. Started 26 games for Penn as a freshman 2 years ago and redshirted last year after transferring.
I think McLean has probably played the best game of this year, I think.
Tony Madlock comes in to replace Gibson.
I think Gibson really has been impressive. I think he's an unsung hero of this ball club, much like Brantley is at Oregon State. He's a very fine basketball player.
1 to go for Spiva. 59-44. It's back to a 15-point Memphis State lead. Each time the Tigers have won, it's been by 16 or more points. 12:05 to play in the game. Brantley really had it going for a while in the first half with 6 straight field goals.
You can see by looking at the Memphis State players right now, they're after everything, man. They feel it and they're after it.
Payton with a very nice job dropping it off inside to Alabegovic.
Payton shows there why he's such a great basketball player.
59-46. Spiva overplayed and gets the shot and knocks it down.
Martin gambled on trying to steal a pass from the outside. It went to the Spiva, and that was it. There's nobody to play him.
Spiva's picked up the scoring load for Memphis State in the second half with 8 points. 61-46 Memphis State. 11:15 remaining. Beavers will have a day off tomorrow and then meet Tennessee and Knoxville tomorrow. Or Sunday, I should say. Perry the rebound. Tapped in by Ernest Smith.
They are just getting up to the board so much more quickly than Oregon State does.
A 17-point lead. Gary Payton beats the double team.
It's important that Oregon State keep its composure here. This game really isn't over. It's a 15-point game with 10.5 minutes to go. A couple, 3 real quick changes, they're back in it.
Burton buries it. 65-48. Perry on Payton. Deflected wide by Perry, so it'll be Oregon State ball on the side with 26 seconds on the shot clock. But we're going to have a timeout first. Timeout with 9:58 to go, and the Tigers leading it now, 65-48.
Okay, real people and beer.
Right, real people.
That Memphis State would be weak inside. It's been the other way around. They've been a perimeter team for most of the season, but they've been very effective in the inside. Well, and conversely, Oregon State has not been able to attack Memphis inside.
What they're doing, they're getting inside of that zone. You see, they get that ball to the high post, and he's looking down. It's a 3-against-2 situation.
Tough rebound that time for Will Brantley, his 5th of the game. Nicely done. 10 in the game for Alabegovic. 65-50.
They're making it much too easy for that ball to go into Spiva.
Nice pass by Spiva. But it's turned over as Smith could not hold it. 13 turnovers in the game for the Tigers, 14 in the game for the Beavers. 65-50. Beavers trail it by 15 with 9 minutes to go. Gary Payton playing with 4 fouls. Rebound for Haskin. Haskin low post. And Spiva is there for the rebound. Spiva with 3 rebounds in the game, unofficially. Spiva's jumper. Rebound attempt that not held that time by Brantley. He really got up there. Stolen. This is McLaughlin. Goes to the left hand to evade the check. Can't get the goal, but he is fouled and goes down hard. John McLaughlin, who was ill this week with a flu and couldn't practice on Wednesday.
Here comes the replay. He goes up. Brantley's going to make a play at the ball. He goes up too late and makes the contact and knocks McLaughlin to the floor quite hard, really. If I had to say there's one key in the second half of this particular game, it's the ability of Memphis State to get the ball into the free throw lane area. Spiva has done a good job getting open. I'm sure that when Coach Anderson looks at the film here, he's going to ask his player and tell him why you're not getting in front of this guy, and he's receiving the pass. That's something you have to do. You can't let that ball go in there.
McLaughlin has 2 shots, and that's the first foul shot he's missed this year. He led the team in free throw shooting last year with 87% from the line. That's excellent. But blows them both here. So the Beavers with possession and trailing by 15 with 8:18 to play. Payton pushes it up. Haskin open for a 6-foot jumper. Cannot get it down. And the rebound goes to Ronald McLean. Blocked by Haskin. And a foul in the fray there in the paint. And that's going to go against the Tigers, I believe.
No, I believe they're going to call it on Brett. Yes, they did. See, Spiva's 225, Jim, and he's moving. You can see the ball going up. Haskins makes a nice block, and he goes up for the rebound, and Spiva reaches in. Spiva's only 6'7". He's 225, and he's using his weight. He's moving people around on that board.
Beavers will inbound under the basket with Alabegovic to put it in place. Spiva gets a nice hand as he comes out, and Tim Duncan, who was sick all week last week, is on the floor. A lot of pressure and almost a turnover there. For Haskin, the alley-oop, he blows it.
Again, he didn't catch the ball.
My, oh my.
He started to shoot the ball before he caught it again.
It was there, but he could not hold on. Out in Memphis, 7:53 to go, and the lead is 15 for the Tigers.
Maybe you've seen the commercial where the Chevy dealers blow up a Ford truck.
Well, your Northwest Ford dealers would just like to thank Chevy for buying Ford. Chevy, if you want to blow them up, that's your business. But keep buying them. You've helped make Ford the #1 selling truck 6 years running. Face facts. You can't beat Ford trucks. But if you Chevy dealers still want to blow them up, how about this new F-250? You get a great deal. Or this Ranger. Or this
Western Roundup, the Northwest's largest selection of exotic boots. But boots aren't just for cowboys anymore. Good and feel good. Exotic boots from Western Roundup. Style, selection, and comfort. Western Roundup, Alderwood Mall, Everett Mall, or 4th and Pike.
Seattle Supersonics collide with Larry Bird and the powerful Boston Celtics in their only appearance in the Boston Gardens this season. The Sonics and the Celtics live Wednesday, December 13th, beginning at 4:30 p.m. only on Prime Sports Northwest.
Imagine a channel that's all movies all the time. December on the Movie Channel. This holiday season, Steve Martin and Michael Caine are dirty, rotten scoundrels.
Do you have any idea what it feels like to take a woman for $20?
Cocoon: The Return. Alien Nation, Without a Clue, High Spirits, Adventures in Babysitting, The Rainmaker. Imagine all this and much more in December on the Movie Channel.
Here we go, 7:53 remaining with the Tigers on top by 15. And at the moment have things well in hand.
You know, and Oregon State could have had this lead down to about 9 because the last 3 or 4 times down, Memphis State hasn't scored. Oregon State's gone up there with a fairly easy shot and hasn't made any of them.
Numbers are pretty much the same. Beavers shooting 42%. Here's McLean blocked at the goal. Earl Martin. Rebounds favor Memphis State 35-31.
As you can see, they've taken Perry off of Peyton. Peyton ran for a few points as soon as they put Perry on him, so they've taken Perry off of him.
McLean with the rebound, and he has 10 in the game. He's played very well for Memphis State. Burton deep in the corner, can't get it down. Duncan holds the rebound. Swiped. That was Will Brantley who broke up the play. Martin comes up with the ball. Peyton finds Alabegovic, and he knocks it down. 8 in this half for Alabegovic. But the Tigers hold a 13-point lead.
That ball, there's in the middle again. They've got to get in front of that man because once that ball goes in there, he presents a real problem to the complete defense.
Jewel Burton bangs home an 18-footer. 6 points off the bench for Burton, who averages 5. And we're back to a 15-point spread, 67-52. Beavers on the season thus far have averaged just under 81 points a game. And they're below that pace tonight. Alabegovic. Nice play by Alabegovic. Crowd thought he walked with the ball, but he did a nice job in there.
He used his pivot foot very well.
10 points in this half for Alabegovic. And a turnover for the Tigers. That's 14 in the game for Memphis State. Foul at the other end as Brantley is hammered.
They could have called that an intentional foul, really and truly. I don't know why they didn't call an intentional foul on that, because there comes the replay. There goes Brantley. He's way out in front. Let's see what happened. There's no doubt about this, baby.
First foul for Madlock.
They could have very easily called that an intentional foul. Excuse me.
16 fouls now for Memphis State, 6 for the Beavers as well.
In the NBA, there would have been an intentional foul, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Will Brantley will be at the free throw line. Will with 14 in the game. He had 12 in the first half, and we've mentioned a couple of times he ran off 6 in a row. Very underrated players. I've mentioned before, I think, Red, Will Brantley.
I think so, too.
Really?
Just like Cheyenne Gibson on the other team.
Yeah.
They play with such great players as teammates. In the case of Brantley, it's Peyton. In the case of Gibson, it's Perry. And but they're very, very fine players in their own right.
67-56, Memphis State. Beavers making a little headway now. Spiva. He's a smart player. Madlock. Perry. Tough shot and puts up an air ball. Very tough Oregon State defense that time. As good as they played.
That's right.
In the game. Nice feed by Payton.
And I think Larry Finch is going to call a timeout. I believe he's afraid of what's happening right now.
Anderson, the goal for Oregon State to make it 67-58. The lead now is down to 9, and this time it's Memphis State needs a timeout. 5 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the game, and the Beavers have clawed back from a 17-point deficit to 9.
What's wrong, Vince?
Cheyenne Gibson is back in the game for Memphis State with the ball at the moment.
I think Oregon State's gone with its quickest team right now. They've got Anderson in there and McIntosh.
Foul at the goal. It'll be Ernest Smith at the free throw line. He has 3 points from the stripe tonight.
If Anderson plays tonight, he's playing tonight like he did the last game, and if he continues doing that, he's going to be a real surprise for Oregon State University because he can do a lot of things. He's got great athletic ability.
Foul is charged to McIntosh, his second. And that's 17 fouls, so Oregon State in the penalty. Smith has 1 to go. He is a poor free throw shooter historically, 52% from the line this year. Short. And a nice rebound by Cheyenne Gibson. They give possession right back to Memphis State. 4:35 remaining now.
It was really a big rebound.
Yes, it was. It certainly was.
Because Oregon State's in a man-to-man. Now they're chasing everybody. They're fronting the pivot man, as you notice. McIntosh is fronting the guy that goes into the hole.
Shot clock winding down now. It's down to 14.
Well, I'm sure Memphis State's going to start playing with that clock a little bit. You know, that's their buddy right now.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Perry, tough shot. He buries it. Elliot Perry with his 13th point to make it 69-58 and 11-point lead.
That's frustrating for any team to play great defense for 44 seconds and have the other team score.
That's a 2-point goal and not a 3-point goal. Very close, but it's a 2-point marker. 69-60. And again, Memphis State using a lot of clock.
Well, they're playing pretty smartly, really. They know that they can take the time off the clock and make it tougher for Oregon State to recover, and if they can score at the end like they did the last time.
Shot clock is at 7.
There he goes again.
A whistle before the shot. No goal.
Foul on Spiva.
And the foul to Spiva, his third. So that is 17 fouls now on Memphis State. So each team in penalty situation.
Oregon State could got it down to 7 here with 3 minutes to go. Hey, this is not over yet.
Nope, we've got plenty of time. 3 minutes, 6 seconds. An agonized Larry Finch looking on. 2-time coach of the year in the Metro Conference. 1-1. It's a 9-point spread, and the Beavers can get 2 more. But first, we're going to have a timeout taken by Oregon State. 3:06 to go in the contest, and the Tigers lead it 69-60. Oregon State, as we said before, moves to Tennessee for a game on Sunday, and then to Gonzaga for a game on the 16th before returning home.
What a childhood. My uncle's dying wish. He wanted me on his lap. He was in the electric chair.
I don't plan to grow old gracefully either. I plan to have facelifts till my ears meet.
I am a living example of Dianetics. George Bush has only been president for a few short months, and already his wife is on the dollar bill.
Unconventional, unpredictable, uncontrollably funny comedy. Nobody brings it home like HBO.
Seattle Supersonics collide with Larry Bird and the powerful Boston Celtics in their only appearance in the Boston Gardens this season. The Sonics and the Celtics live Wednesday, December 13th, beginning at 4:30 p.m. only on Prime Sports Northwest.
We are back. 3:06 remaining. Beavers down by 9. Gary Payton with 1-1 fails on the first, and the rebound controlled by McLean, who has dominated the board for Memphis State with 11 rebounds tonight. Beavers really chasing the ball now. Trying to trap. And there's a foul, and it's going to be against Brantley. That's the second on Brantley. And it's 1-1. Game clock down to 2:38 to go. Neither team really shooting very well tonight. Beavers have picked up their average for the game to 46%. Madlock earns another. And Memphis State is shooting 44%. First point of the night for Madlock with one shot remaining.
Pretty good free throw shooters, about a 70%, which is better than most of them.
71% on the year. 2 big points for sophomore Tony Madlock. Payton, 2.5 minutes to go. Alabegovic, long, over the top. Memphis State basketball. Stolen by Alabegovic. Payton, spin move at the baseline. Oh, cannot get it down. Martin,
This won't go.
2 good shots at the hoop, and neither goes. And Alabegovic picks up his 4th foul. And Jimmy Anderson perplexed. Down by 11 now with 2:18 remaining. Alabegovic and Payton each playing with 4 fouls.
There's the missed shot. And they come down with the rebound. There actually were about 2 missed shots there. Martin got the ball off the board, couldn't get it back up.
Once again, it'll be Tony Madlock at the free throw line. Fails on the first of a 1-on-1. Here come the Beavers with time becoming a problem for them. And Will Brantley is fouled in the paint. Now, will they give Brantley 2 shots or 1-on-1?
I don't know. Probably give him a 1-on-1, I would imagine.
It is 1-on-1.
They might have given him 2 elsewhere. They're not going to give him 2 here.
I won't tell those guys you said that.
Well, and I think the call was correct, but they might have given it if it were the other way.
The referee's an old friend of yours, isn't he? Richard Weiler?
Well, I know all the old guys I know. I don't know any of the young ones. Again, a missed free throw.
There's Martin. Put back does not go. Brantley is short, and he's fouled again. And this time, it'll go to Ernest Smith, his first foul of the night. And Brantley will return to the free throw line. And this time, he shoots 2. Right here. Martin put back. And there's the foul.
Shooting 2.
Bradley with his 17th point of the night. It's a 10-point lead for the Tigers. Now to 9. 2:05 to play. Long ways to go for the Beavers, down by 9. Blaine drops it underneath. Score it. Ernest Smith.
When you're pressuring like that, Anderson should have been on the side of the ball to prevent that ball from going in. Once that ball went in, the game was over.
Beautiful alley-oop play from Payton to Carl Anderson. And Oregon State will spend a timeout. with 1:40 to go, and the Tigers leading it 73-64. We'll be right back.
Explore man's love affair with the invention of the century, the airplane, as we take to the skies on Wings. Wednesdays and Saturdays at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel.
Imagine a channel that's all movies all the time. December on the Movie Channel. This holiday season, Steve Martin and Michael Caine are dirty, rotten scoundrels.
Do you have any idea what it feels like to take a woman for $20?
Cocoon the Return. Alien Nation. Without a Clue. High Spirits. Adventures in Babysitting. The Rainmaker. Imagine all this and much more in December on the Movie Channel.
These are the newcomers to our planet. He's the cop who keeps them in line.
Does that look suspicious or what?
Your people do not know about this part of our past.
Get the boat!
It is a nightmare.
James Caan, Mandy Patinkin, Alien Nation.
There's that ball coming on in. Oh, they haven't started it, so there he goes off to the side. Now the ball goes to the middle. Carl Anderson was too late in the back. He just lays the thing down. There goes the jam. Anderson should have been on the side of the ball. Now there's a nice pass there. The pass right down low to Anderson. Anderson lays it up for a basket.
1:40 to go. And a 9-point lead for Memphis State and possession. Very tough to come back now with that 45-second shot clock. Beavers trying to force the turnover on the inbounds. Particularly difficult to come back against a team that's so good with the basketball as Memphis State, and the Beavers are slapped with a foul.
All in all, they handle the pressure and the pressing defenses quite well, and I think that's because they do it themselves. So every day in practice they go against it.
The foul is the 5th against Alabegovic, and he is disqualified. He'll leave the game with 14 points and 10 rebounds. And Bob Cavell checks in for the Beavers. Excuse me, that is 12 rebounds for Alabegovic. So he's played strong.
Yeah, he's gone to the boards, mostly all defensive rebounds, but he's gone after it.
Perry at the line for a pair. Scored 620 points last year as a sophomore. The first player in Memphis State history to score more than 600 in his sophomore year. Payton for 3 is wide of the target. 1:29 to go. Perry out in front on the break, loses control, out of bounds to Oregon State.
I think Perry really had it. He was trying to hold himself up so he could get a shot off, and that's what caused it to go out.
73-64. Beavers need some in a hurry here. Payton forces it, gets his own rebound, and scores it. Great effort by Gary Payton, trying to do it all by himself here with 1:13 to go. Perry is tripped, and the Beaver foul to Carl Anderson.
And Larry Finch, really and truly, I think he wanted his team to hold the ball up. He didn't. There goes the coming down there, and he gets tripped by, let's see, oh yeah, he got tripped right there, no doubt about it. Carl Anderson got him.
1:10 to go. 73-66.
But I don't think Finch really wants them to start running. I think he wants them to hold the ball up a little bit.
Sure, absolutely.
It's only 7 up with 1:10 to go.
The 12th point of the night. Excuse me, the 14th point of the night for Perry. 15 in the game for Elliot Perry. Just a junior, he's got another year to go. 1:05 to play. Brantley short off the rim. Collected by Perry. 1 minute remaining. And a good job by Perry, who knew Payton was on his hip and drew the foul. And that's all for Payton. 5 fouls, he's out.
Well, he played the whole second half with 4, really, and did a fine job. He gave up several assists in the second half. I know he had 7 in the first half. He must have had a good 6, 7 in the second half. I'd like to see this again. I'd like to really see this. Boy, that's a pretty close call either way, but Payton is at fault. He came over his back.
12 assists in the game for Gary Payton with 10 points. There is an NBA scout here tonight. Gary Wortman of the Seattle Supersonics is here, and we haven't had a chance to talk to Gary. Didn't see him prior to game time, but I'm sure he's taking a good look at Gary Payton, as so many NBA people are.
You know, if I were to give credit to a couple of players on the Memphis team for what has gone on tonight, I'd have to give credit to McLean and Spiva. I think they both did excellent work when Memphis State needed it.
I was really impressed with Spiva, who is not pretty to watch all the time, but he is a hard-working, intelligent player who was thrust into a difficult spot here, forced to start, and really performed well, as you say. 45 seconds to go.
At 6'7", 225, you don't have to be pretty.
Beaver foul. 41 seconds remaining, and Charles McKinney, the freshman from Portland's Wilson High School, draws the foul.
I think that's the first shot McKinney has missed this season. I think he's only taken 2, though.
Well, he was 2 of 3, actually,
was
going
he?
into the game, yeah. And here is Mr. Perry back at the line. Averaging just under 7 steals a game, 4 assists a game, 55% from the line. 20 points a game is his average. He's not going to get that tonight.
That's a 3, isn't it? No, he called it a 2.
2-point goal for Martin, his 10th point. 76-68, 30 seconds remain. Nicely played by Carl Anderson. Brantley outside.
That's a 3, isn't it? Nope.
Nope, that's a 2-point goal. Got to be fully behind that 3-point line. "13 seconds remaining. The Beavers have pulled within 6. And now McKinney is charged with his second foul. It's the only chance the Beavers have, of course, is to send him to the line and hope the Tigers fail.
Which they have been doing the last 3 times down.
But this guy is not likely to. Madlock, 1-1. He has 2 points from the stripe tonight, and is one of the better foul shooters on this club.
Again, you're right.
77-70. It appears it'll be a Memphis State victory and the first defeat of the season for the Beavers. Nice pass off by McKinney, and Anderson scores. 8 in the game for Carl Anderson. That'll do it. 2-1. Game over in Memphis. The final score: the Memphis State Tigers have defeated Oregon State 78-72. 16 points in the game for star guard Elliot Perry, and he did a magnificent job.